Chapter 517 Qiankun Fortune Kill. Stop. You don't have to continue. I know what you want to say. Isn't it just a carving technique? I'll teach you. All right. Who are you? Immediately continued. He was very intelligent. How could he not know what Sun Zuen wanted? Sun Zuen was delighted when he heard that. However, his face also turned serious after that momentary delight. He took 2 steps back and widened the gap between Hu Yuao and himself before bowing to him. Hu Yuao was shocked and quickly jumped to one side. Teacher Sun, what are you doing? I don't deserve such good fortune. Sun Zuen replied. This is only right. Even though I don't know where your carving technique came from, I'm certain that this technique of yours has set a precedent in the world of soul masters. Although we can't exclude the importance of your magical carving blade in your completion of the core formation, we also can't deny the fact that your carving technique is very important too. It's not going overboard to call it a godly skill. If you are willing to impart this carving technique to me, I'll even call you teacher in the future. Teacher Sun is indeed mad. In terms of martial soul cultivation, Qiankun is the craziest. But in terms of soul tools, Teacher Sun is the craziest. Hu Yuao smiled and said, Teacher Sun, don't say things like that. You'll always be my teacher. Honestly speaking, I only attained this carving technique unintentionally. It's very profound. I've not fully comprehended it yet. If you want to learn it, I won't keep it to myself. You can learn it with second senior. I'll impart it to both of you. However, it'll depend on how much both of you can understand. All right. Sun Zuen acknowledged. He didn't express any further words of gratitude. He was dragged to the Tang Sect by Hu Yuao. How much had he contributed to the Sect since then? When Hu Yuao agreed to impart this carving technique to him, he decided in his heart that he was going to dedicate the rest of his life to the Tang Sect. Hu Yuao naturally didn't know about this psychological change in Sun Zuen's mind. He was exhausted by now and wanted to return to rest. Over these few days, he had slowly gotten used to that weird seal between Tang Wutong and him. The two of them would be fine if they cultivated, but not if they got intimate with each other. At the start, he was still a little uncomfortable. After all, he had spent a lot of effort trying to get Tang Wutong back. He really wanted to get intimate with her. However, he was too exhausted over these few days. Every day after he finished making soul tools, he would have a weird blissful feeling when he returned to his room and saw Tang Wutong. They ate together and cultivated together at night. A gentle embrace, kiss and peck on the cheek left the two of them very blissful. His original depression also gradually disappeared and left him very comforted. He even started to like this lifestyle. He took 1 month to complete all 13 core formations. Ever since he had finished the 3rd core formation, Sun Zuen had decisively passed all the work to him. However, the class 9 soul tool still wasn't made by Hu Yuao alone. Even though he used his ghost carving blade to complete the outer shell and all the core formations, he was still not good enough to complete the final installation and testing step. After a few failures, he let Sun Zuen complete the assembly of the soul tool to prevent the core formations from being damaged. Of course, Hu Yuao and Qiankun learned a lot from this entire process. However, it still didn't help Hu Yuao become a class 9 soul engineer in one day. Hu Yuao didn't mind this at all. He didn't possess the abilities of a class 9 soul engineer initially. If not for the magic of the rain dragon's dance, he wouldn't have been able to do everything he had. Over the past month, Hu Yuao's abilities in terms of soul tools increased by leaps and bounds. His own research, Sun Zuen's guidance and the rain dragon's dance formed a compatible combination that helped him to improve greatly. He also imparted the rain dragon's dance to Sun Zuen and Qiankun. It was very profound, and understanding it was very difficult. Furthermore, the two of them didn't have the ghost carving blade, and thus they were very slow in learning. However, even so, they still learned a lot when they combined their own carving techniques with this new technique. The three of them managed to improve very quickly as a result. A scarlet red light shot into the sky and illuminated the entire laboratory. A gentle icy blue barrier engulfed this scarlet red light and prevented the high temperature that was used to melt metals from burning the lab down. It's done. Sun Zuen clapped his hands and appeared very excited. The huge furnace was placed on the laboratory desk. It wasn't covered and was what the red light earlier had come from. Hu Yuao and Qiankun were standing at the sides. They both appeared very delighted. After a month of hard work, this class 9 soul tool was finally completed. Even Sun Zuen was very pleased when he saw this completed product. To a class 9 soul engineer, being able to create a class 9 soul tool, especially one that he had researched on his own, was a very satisfying thing. As he was excited, Sun Zuen subconsciously glanced at Hu Yuao. He knew that this kill furnace wouldn't have been constructed so quickly without his rain dragon's dance. He even secretly sighed in his heart. If Hu Yuao's cultivation was a little higher and his experience was a little more tempered, he would have immediately become a class 9 soul engineer with this new carving technique. It's finally completed. Hu Yuao heaved a sigh of relief. After completing the pill furnace, it meant that he could finally begin cultivating pills. This was a joyous thing for the entire Tang Sect. Sun Zuen said, when are you planning to begin? Hu Yuao said, I'll perform some tests over the next few days first and try out this furnace. After this, I can start the production of pills. I'll use some ordinary medicinal herbs to accumulate some experience first. Sun Zuen said, that's good. Don't waste resources. Okay. Over the next few days, Hu Yuao was immersed in his attempts to try out pill cultivation. It had to be said that a top-grade pill furnace was extremely helpful in his cultivation of pills. Controlling the fire and consolidating the medicinal power could all be completed using a pill furnace. Rather than accumulating experience, it was more that he was familiarizing himself with the pill furnace. Hu Yuao didn't dare be careless either. The resources used to cultivate pills were very valuable. Wasting even a little was already very painful. This was why he used 5 days to accumulate experience. He cultivated a few ordinary medicines and tried them himself. It was only after deciding that they were effective enough that he started to prepare to cultivate pills. As a result, Sun Zuen's laboratory was completed occupied by Hu Yuao. Although pill cultivation wasn't as troublesome as creating a soul tool, it was still not an easy thing to do too. Hu Yuao brought back more than 10 different types of valuable treasures. First, he had to dispense the medicines first. After that, he could begin cultivating pills. This time, he didn't even return to his own residence. He kept himself busy in the laboratory. Every day, Tang Wutong brought food and beverages for him. Day after day passed. Apart from Tang Wutong, even Sun Zuen had not returned to the laboratory. Tang Wutong only brought him food every day. After that, she would accompany him in his cultivation to recover his energy. No one had expected Hu Yuao to spend more time cultivating pills than he had taken to create the pill furnace itself. If not for the fact that Tang Wutong passed them news that Hu Yuao was fine, everyone in the Tang Sect would have gotten very anxious. 3 months. Hu Yuao spent an entire 3 months in the laboratory. All right. This batch of resources has to be in place as soon as possible. Otherwise, the soul tool hall will be bare of resources. Bei Bei instructed a Tang Sect disciple. Yes. The disciple acknowledged his words and quickly left. Take a rest. A gentle voice sounded behind Bei Bei, and a pair of delicate hands were placed on his shoulders. Bei Bei's pensive gaze immediately turned gentle. He grabbed the little hands on his shoulders and pulled the owner of those hands toward himself. He placed her down on his legs and gently embraced her. Xiaoya, how are you feeling today? Bei Bei asked softly. Tanya twisted her lips and said, it's always the same. It's neither good nor bad. It's really not a comfortable feeling. Bei Bei revealed a slight grin on his face when he saw her acting like this. However, his grin was filled with some bitterness too. Yes, Tanya's memories had basically been restored. After Hu Yuao purged the toxins from her body, Tanya slowly regained her awareness, and her memory also gradually recovered. Even her cultivation was preserved. However, she couldn't use her cultivation right now, as her body was too weak. A few months had passed. She had slimmed down greatly, even though she wasn't very fat to begin with. The more she slimmed down, the thinner she became. Her skin turned an unhealthy pale white shade, and she lost some of her energy. Initially, Bei Bei was very happy when he saw that Tanya had regained her awareness. However, he then discovered that he was more unhappy after Tanya regained her memories. 4 months had passed since the mission had been announced. At times, someone would bring something similar to the Blue Silver Emperor. However, none of these proclaimed Blue Silver Emperors worked. As time passed, fewer and fewer people came. This showed how rare the Blue Silver Emperor was. Bei Bei was very busy with his work every day, and he still had to spend time with Tanya. Recently, he felt more and more fatigued. Compared to the bitterness in his heart, Tanya was very happy after recovering her memories. When she saw that the Tang Sect was already in such a state, she seemed to be glowing. However, even if she was in a much better state of mind, her body was still affected by the poison. She called herself a funnel before, because she kept losing the life energy that she absorbed from the Life Guardian blade. However, it was also because of this that she was able to maintain her current condition. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be able to get out of bed right now. Bei Bei exerted a little more force with his arm and brought Tanya closer to him. He was afraid that she would leave him if he wasn't careful enough. He couldn't imagine what he would do if that happened. He couldn't imagine how pained he would be. Bei Bei. Tanya gently called his name. Yes. Bei Bei softly acknowledged. Tanya softly said, do you think I'm very spoiled? If not for the fact that I left, so many things wouldn't have happened. No, it's my fault. I couldn't protect you. Bei Bei looked at Tanya, and his face was filled with guilt. If I had understood your thoughts better and showed you more concern, so many things wouldn't have happened, and you wouldn't have suffered so much. Xiaoya, don't worry. I'll treat you no matter what. Tanya smiled and said, all right, don't be like this. Am I not alive and well? If you want to make me happy, you need to be happy yourself. Even if I can't live much longer, do you really wish to see me in pain even as I draw my last breath? Be happy with me, okay? Bei Bei smiled. All right. Tanya brought her face to his and whispered, Bei Bei, I want to bear you a son, and we'll name him as a Tang. All right. Otherwise, the Tang sect won't have any more descendants. Bei Bei was shocked and immediately responded, no. Why not? Don't you love me? Tanya immediately pursed her lips. Although she had recovered her memories, her character had also reverted to her teenage days too. Bei Bei laughed bitterly. It's not that we can't name him as a Tang, but that you can't bear a child. Given your current condition, Tanya shook her head and said, no, I'm fine. I can do it. My life energy is lacking, but our life energies combined can still produce a new life. He can live on my behalf. How great would that be? If I die and can't remain by your side, he can be with you. You won't feel lonely either, right? Bei Bei's body shook, and tears surged from his eyes. He hugged her tightly as he lost control of his emotions. No, Xiaoya, I won't let you die. You must not die. If you dare to die, I'll accompany you. Tanya caressed Bei Bei's hair. The look in her eyes was very gentle. Silly, where can you find someone who doesn't die? It's only a matter of timing. I don't feel indignant at all. You've already completed my greatest wish, and you love me so much too. Even though I've not lived for a long time, I've done what I wanted to. I have no regrets. I only want to bear you a child. All right. Bei Bei couldn't even answer her. Right now, he was sobbing uncontrollably. Bei Bei, Bei Bei. At this moment, a voice sounded from outside. Tanya immediately broke free from Bei Bei's embrace. Bei Bei also hurriedly wiped away his tears. He was the decision-maker in the Tang sect. He couldn't possibly let anyone see him like this. Shu Sanchi rushed in. Only he was capable of rushing into Bei Bei's room and making such a huge commotion. Once he entered, he felt something wrong with the atmosphere. He saw the displeased look in Tang Ya's eyes before he saw Bei Bei's slightly red eyes. He coughed. Have I come at a bad time? Should I come back later? Shu Sanchi was about to turn around and leave. Cut the crap. Say whatever you have to say. Bei Bei snapped. He understood Shu Sanchi's character very well. From his voice, he could tell that something had happened, and it had to be something good. It seems like little Junior is about to exit his closed-door cultivation. There's a very strong medicinal smell coming from the laboratory. It's everywhere now. Do you want to take a look? Sun Zwen's laboratory was in the basement, and it was well sealed. If the medicinal smell could diffuse from the laboratory, it showed how strong the smell was. After hearing Shu Sanchi's words, Bei Bei was also jolted awake. Although he knew that no medicine Huoyua came up with could treat Tanya, he still bore a glimmer of hope in his heart. Let's go and take a look. Indeed, it was like as Shu Sanchi described. In fact, when Bei Bei left his room, he could immediately smell the medicine. It was very light but refreshing. By just sniffing it a little, Bei Bei felt as if his soul power had been stimulated. Bei Bei thought of something and said to Shu Sanchi, Sanchi, quickly call all the Tang sect disciples and gather at the practice arena. Everyone can meditate together. Shu Sanchi had been his partner for many years. He immediately understood what Bei Bei meant. Yes. Why didn't I think of this? I'll go right now. You and Xiaoya can proceed to the laboratory first. The two of them split the work well. Bei Bei held onto Tang Ya's hands and quickly rushed towards the basement of the Sultal Hall. The closer they came to the Sultal Hall, the stronger the medicinal smell was. Even by sniffing it, they felt extremely comfortable. Even Tanya developed a reddish glow on her face. This medicine is very strong. What kind of medicine has little Junior cultivated? It's actually so strong. When they came to the entrance of the basement of the Sultal Hall, the rest of the senior management of the Tang sect had already gathered there. Let's go. Let's all go down. Bei Bei waved to everyone before saying to Nana, Nana, I've asked Sanchi to gather the disciples. Whether they're from the Sultal Hall or any other halls, immediately bring them to the basement and gather outside the laboratory after they arrive. The underground laboratory area of the Tang sect was very large. It could hold a few thousand people at once. There were more than 500 Tang sect disciples in the Tang sect right now, but it was still easy to hold them. Okay. Nana acknowledged. The rest quickly entered the basement. The medicinal smell in the basement was even stronger. Sun Zwen was astonished. Yuao is really impressive. What kind of medicine has he cultivated? Just by smelling it, I think it's more effective than the medicine I consumed last time. We can't waste it. Quick. He was the one who had researched the pill furnace. Naturally, he was very familiar with it. It was a class 9 soul tool. There was a vent hole that prevented the accumulation of pressure inside the furnace. At times, the pressure would be released. Undoubtedly, this was how the medicinal smell had spread out. If the medicinal smell that diffused in this way was already so good, how strong was the medicine? Inside the laboratory, right now, Huoyua wasn't the only one cultivating the medicine. Behind him stood Tang Wutong. Although Huoyua could barely make a class 9 soul tool, he only had 8 soul rings. He couldn't operate a class 9 soul tool. However, he could do so with Tang Wutong's help. Over the past few months, he had cultivated with her using his Hadong power. Their new Hadong power had fused godly elements, which greatly helped in their cultivation. Furthermore, the fusion of their soul power was getting stronger and stronger. With Tang Wutong's support, Huoyua could easily pour out the soul power of a titled Douluo right now. It was definitely fine for him to continue cultivating. Right now, the entire pill furnace was golden red. The 4 vent holes at the top of the furnace would occasionally sizzle and release gas. The entire laboratory was now filled with the fragrance of medicine. Huoyua and Tang Wutong could both sense the medicinal smell seeping through their bodies. That feeling was very magical. It felt as if their entire bodies had been cleansed. They were about to succeed. Huoyua had been cultivating this batch of pills for a long time. More accurately speaking, this batch of pills contained all the valuable treasures that he had brought back. Over the past 3 months, he had cultivated these pills 20 times. According to the different compositions of the medicines, he dispensed them and cultivated them, extracting their essence and removing their impurities. After he finished, he cultivated all of them together to produce this final batch of pills. Such pills were some of the strongest, according to the records left behind by Tang San. They could even be considered immortal pills, and were collectively known as Qiankun fortune pills. If not for the fact that Huoyua had cleaned out the entire ice fire yin-yang well and extracted the essences of the immortal plants around the well, he wouldn't have dared to try cultivating these pills. A class 9 pill furnace was too strong. In his previous attempts, the essences Huoyua cultivated were close to becoming pills. However, the cultivation process was too simple, which caused him to be a little more ambitious. Since he had a class 9 pill furnace and a complete list of resources, why shouldn't he try making Qiankun fortune pills? This was what he had achieved as a result. It was just that he didn't expect that cultivating these pills would be so difficult. When he first started, he only relied on his own strength and that of the pill furnace. However, as time passed, the essences of the resources were quickly extracted. When they mixed together, the amount of power that was released became greater and greater. Even the class 9 pill furnace was unable to contain so much power. Huoyua had no choice but to use his soul power to maintain the production process. From the first day he started on this batch of pills, it had already been 49 days. He managed on his own for the first 20 days. After that, he needed Tang Wutong to help him. Furthermore, Huoyua was stunned to find out that this pill furnace was easier to control using the Hadong power compared to when he used his own strength. In addition, the effects seemed to be better too. The strong medicinal composition in the furnace seemed to submit to the Hadong power. This wasn't just because the Hadong power was much stronger than Huoyua's individual soul power. It seemed like the Hadong power contained some kind of strength that the essences of the medicine had no choice but to submit to. Right now, the medicinal fluid inside the furnace had fully taken form. Huoyua was down to the last step of the cultivation, which was forming the pills. What this meant was that the essences inside the furnace had to be compressed further to turn them into pills. This process was the simplest compared to the other steps, but it was the most draining too. When Huoyua started on this step, the class 9 furnace seemed to be unable to take it, and needed needed to release some pressure first. Fortunately, the medicinal essences were stabilized with Tang Wutong's help. As their soul power flowed in their bodies, Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong both shone with golden light. The bright and transparent golden light caused the glow emanating from their bodies to become stronger and stronger. On Huo Yuao's forehead, his eye of destiny was already opened. In the center of his pupil, a whirlpool formed by his soul core was spinning rapidly. However, on a closer look, it was clear that this rapidly spinning whirlpool was no longer as black and deep as before. Rather, it was formed from black and white. The mysterious black and white continuously formed the images of yin and yang, and a weird spiritual undulation was revolving around Huo Yuao's body. As for Tang Wutong, the golden trident on her forehead was very clear. It exuded an elegant yet domineering aura. Their Hadong power formed a massive golden whirlpool with their bodies at the center. This whirlpool was spinning rapidly. The diameter of this golden whirlpool was around 3 meters, but it didn't expand further. Within it, there was immense soul power. At the core of this whirlpool, a crystal entity that resembled that of a soul core seemed to have taken form. A soul core from a martial soul fusion? Regarding this, even Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong were unsure. Their soul core presented itself in a jujube-like shape. Not long after their Hadong power consolidated, it appeared. As they cultivated further and further, this soul core also became more and more evident. Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong could only sense that there was an extremely terrifying compressed soul power contained within their soul core. They had been cultivating over the past few months, but hadn't had a chance to fight yet. After all, Huo Yuao was very busy with his learning and research. However, he deeply believed that their martial soul fusion had to be 120% now. If it had been 100% before, the vent holes were sizzling again. Following this, the entire furnace turned a blinding gold. Strong golden lights flashed, and a fragrance swept over the entire place. After this, the lights retracted once again before shooting into the sky. The temperature in the entire laboratory rose quickly. A large number of rare metals started to soften under this high temperature. Huo Yuao stretched out his hands in front of him, and an icy blue glow was instantly released from his body, turning into a massive barrier that engulfed the golden lights. This helped to isolate the extremely high temperature. Dim light shone, and Huo Yuao revealed an icy cold and mysterious look on his face. He pointed at the furnace with his right hand. While it seemed like a simple action, it actually helped to stabilize the furnace, which was shaking tremendously. This wasn't the effect of his ultimate ice, but a result of his spiritual power. His spirit eye soul core released unprecedentedly strong spiritual undulations, and immense spiritual pressure descended, compressing the medicinal energy that was stirring in the furnace. At this instant, Huo Yuao only felt that his emotions were like a hill and he was like a mountain, as he suppressed the undulations of the medicinal energy. Emotions? Was this the power of emotions? Before he saw the god of emotions, Huo Yuao's use of his emotional strength wasn't deliberate. It only happened because his yearning for Wang Donga was too intense. Right now, his action was deliberate. He had actually succeeded. Right now, his emotions were terrifying. When he fused such power into his spiritual power, Huo Yuao only felt that his spirit, spiritual power, and emotions had fused into one entity. Immense soul power undulations were released under such conditions, fusing with the strange spiritual undulations. Tang Wutong, who was seated by Huo Yuao, had already opened her eyes. She was completely astonished. Whatever Huo Yuao felt, she felt the same too. What kind of strength is this? It's so powerful. At that instant, she only felt that Huo Yuao had become a mighty mountain in front of her. He was immovable and completely domineering. Even she felt that he was irresistible, even though she had fused with him to generate their Hadong power. The golden light from the furnace slowly turned golden red before gradually dimming. The medicinal energy that was seeping out finally retracted into the furnace. Huo Yuao let out a long breath, and his emotions also became less intense. The pills were done. Even as the mighty feeling disappeared, Huo Yuao was still Huo Yuao. Tang Wutong pulled her palms back and took a deep breath. She slowly stood up. Was it successful? She asked softly. Yes. Huo Yuao turned around and smiled. Huo Yuao then stood up and came in front of the pill furnace with Tang Wutong. Tang Wutong said, "It seems like your strength seemed to change earlier. What kind of strength was that? It can actually suppress medicinal energy." At that moment, I could even sense that you didn't use much of the Hadong power either. Huo Yuao asked, "Do you still remember my 3 ultimate Hadong skills?" Tang Wutong revealed a warm look in her eyes when she heard the words 3 ultimate Hadong skills, and nodded. How could she not remember? Before she regained her memories, she had personally witnessed him using them. Back then, Huo Yuao had used his 3 ultimate Hadong skills to astonish the death god Douluo. She only truly understood that strong sense of yearning after she recovered. Huo Yuao smiled and gently hugged her waist, saying, "The reason why my 3 ultimate Hadong skills are so strong is because I fused everything in my life into them. During the fusion process, the catalyst was my emotions, my yearning for you. This helped me to discover the profundity of emotions. The same soul master with the same abilities can unleash different fighting strengths under different emotions. If he can properly control his emotions and fuse them with his abilities, he can greatly increase their power. Earlier, I tried to fuse my emotions and the spiritual power of my spirit eyes together before using everything I had to ensure a complete fusion. In that way, I was able to unleash 200% of my abilities through my emotional undulations." Tang Wutong appeared pensive. Such a self-created soul skill isn't simple. I shall try it too. Huo Yuao lowered his head and said, "In fact, I don't think it's as effective as the original 3 ultimate Hadong skills, even though I've managed to comprehend some of the mysteries within them. You should know that I relied on my 3 ultimate Hadong skills to kill an evil soul Douluo when I was still a soul emperor. Come, I'll let you sense my emotions." As he spoke, a strong sense of love mixed with his spiritual power spread towards Tang Wutong. Tang Wutong was stunned. Following this, her ears turned red. She seemed to be tearing up a little as she looked at Huo Yuao. She couldn't resist his love at all. "All right, everyone's waiting outside. Quickly, open the furnace," Tang Wutong said softly as she leaned against Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao immediately stepped back. The mysterious, sealed power on Tang Wutong's body was too terrifying. He had tried to resist it before, but the final result was that he got bruised. Furthermore, the more he resisted, the more tragic he became. Huo Yuao had used the furnace until he was very familiar with it. He touched the furnace a few times before it released a layer of soul power undulations. Following this, the temperature of the furnace rose again. It was releasing the heat and pressure inside it. Huo Yuao waved his right hand, and a layer of ultimate ice formed a meter away from the furnace, dissipating the heat. This lasted for 10 minutes before the heat inside the furnace was fully dissipated. Huo Yuao mimicked the lifting action, and the cover of the furnace slowly rose with a creak. The medicinal fragrance that had disappeared earlier immediately swept the air. The fragrance was only released for an instant, but Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong felt as if their pores had been opened. They were greedily absorbing the essence of heaven and earth into their bodies. Something even stranger appeared. A layer of light surged out of the furnace and formed a smooth glow. Within this glow shone lights that resembled the intersection of sun rays and moonlight. The Qiankun fortune pills were completed. Huo Yuao lifted his head to look inside the furnace. He also didn't know how many pills he could cultivate. He had used almost all the materials he had, as he had wanted to maximize the effect of the medicine. When he looked at the Qiankun fortune pills, he couldn't help but reveal an astonished look on his face. The pills were milky white and smooth. Every pill was covered in fog and was the size of a fingernail. There weren't many of them. It seemed like there were only 7 pills. Yes, there were exactly 7 pills. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.